北京时间的14号，出席“一带一路”国际合作高峰论坛的联合国秘书长古特雷斯接受了央视记者的独家专访。
古特雷斯表示，“一带一路”倡议有利于促进联合国2030年可持续发展议程的实施，各方应该抓住机遇，积极支持和参与“一带一路”建设，实现互利共赢。
At the opening speech of the BRI Forum, Chinese President Xi Jinping have been talking about the new plans for Belt and Road Initiative. You later, in your speech, talk about seizing that momentum. Can we?
Yes, of course. I think that today China has a leading role in promoting multilateralism in the world. China has a vision that globalization is a good thing that needs to be promoted, even if there are aspects that can be corrected, can be improved. Some people are left behind. But the Chinese approach is that we need better globalization, and we need, with the Belt and Road Initiative, to create the conditions for larger areas of the world to benefit, in order exactly for globalization to be an opportunity for all, for nobody to be left behind, as we also are committed to through the Agenda 2030 that was approved by the General Assembly of the United Nations.
Yeah.
So I think this morning's speech is the confirmation of what has been the very clear commitment of China to a fair globalization, to fair and free trade, and to a multilateral governance able to respond to the global challenges we have today.
Secretary General, you talk about the common ground between BRI and SDG by 2030. Of course, that's the United Nations set up. Chinese President Xi Jinping was also among many state leaders there to sign up on it. But what about the action plans? We need to take action, don't we?
Of course, but the advantage of the Belt and Road Initiative is that it's not only a concept, it is a combination of a number of concrete projects that are being implemented in many areas of the world.
What to you are the most important projects?
Well, those that relate to infrastructure that can connect, but also those that relate to the peoples-to-peoples connection. Because we live in a world where there are too many conflicts. We live in a world where there are too many misunderstandings between different religions, different cultures. So this is not only a material development project, this is a project to bring people together. This is not something only for development, it's also for peace. And this is the great value of this initiative, and this is why it is so much linked to the agendas of the United Nations that are for sustainable development and for sustaining peace.
This is an interesting match we're talking about, that UN with decades of experiences and hands-on knowledge, and China providing, together with others, some of the funding to be able to make things come true. Nobody has ever tested that before, at least with developing countries. So, Mr. Secretary General, I guess that's one of the most exciting experiments we ever have.
It's a perfect marriage. But it's not only...
Is that how you describe it?
It's not only knowledge in the UN and funding in China. There is a lot of knowledge in China, and this knowledge is very important also for us. Not that we are going to copy the Chinese model, because China has specific conditions for its development, but we can learn the lessons of the Chinese development in order to avoid mistakes in other parts of the world, and we can use the capacities that were developed in China in technology, in strategies to fight poverty, in all areas today of industrial and services development, in order to help other countries be able to, I would say, to have a quantum leap, to have a jump.
I love that word.
Not to have to go all the way, but to be able to take profit of the Chinese experience to jump into a higher level of development.
About the Belt and Road Initiative, people are still having this Cold War mentality, you know, suggesting, well, this is China expanding geopolitically, this and that. What is your judgment of the nature of this and China's incentive to do it?
China is today a global economic powerhouse, and there is a mutual benefit on this. I mean, if China will help a country develop its economy, China will also benefit. It's a mutual benefit. It's a win-win situation. And so obviously we can see all these projects as a way also to promote Chinese investment, Chinese trade, Chinese wealth. It is true, but that's exactly the win-win situation. You try to make others rich and also become richer doing that. If everybody would behave in the same way, the world would be much better.
Secretary General, this is your first exclusive TV interview when you are in China. And certainly a lot of people are watching very closely, both inside this country and beyond. They want to hear from you. Where do you think the world should be going with your sitting in the office as Secretary General?
Well, what is important today, more important than anything else, is to people to be able to overcome their contradictions, to respect each other, and to work together for peace. China is doing all these efforts.
You and President Xi are communicating about that.
We should be. China is doing all these efforts with the Belt and Road Initiative. Imagine if the countries where these investments are being made will enter into a conflict, the investment will be lost. So peace is a basic condition for development. And peace is something that we need to put as our first priority in everything we do, and all countries should have it in their first priorities.
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary General, for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.